Houston gave us all a gift, and I don't mean just us Big 12 fans. Houston gave the college basketball world and just casual sports fans a gift because everybody's watching the Final Four, right? College basketball does not rate very well during the regular season, but everybody's watching during the Final Four. Everybody should be thanking Houston, and I'm going to tell you why. But everybody should totally be thanking Houston, whether or not you're rooting for the Big 12. That was just the perfect spectacle, why we love sports. And it's because it had so many different things that make games like that, like unforgettable, and the entire reason that we're all here. I know it may seem like we're all here to talk about conference realignment and all these stupid, intricate, like way inside baseball things that happen in the sport. We're here because we like the games. We're here because we like to watch. I mean, that is ultimately what draws you in, right? You like to watch exciting games like that. And that was a freaking thriller. First of all, there were stakes, right? Obviously, we're in the Final Four. Not only are there stakes, but that draws in a wider audience. Everybody loves the Final Four. Everybody loves the NCAA tournament. It makes a ton of money every single year. It's the biggest cash cow for the NCAA every single year because there's that much interest in it. Stakes, Final Four, winner plays for the national championship. Don't need to say any more about what the stakes were for that. And then you just had an amazing comeback. And this is where, it's so easy to gloss over Houston's toughness as a team and just be like, hey, I mean, they've been great this year. They can shoot it better. Between Sharp and Uzan, like they've got a little more punch offensively this year, but don't forget about their toughness, man. I said earlier this year, I think it was after they won at Texas Tech, that Houston could win a road game in hell because they are just that tough. And you look at the path through the tournament, man, they had to play a top 10 Ken Pom team in the round of 32. No problem. They had to play a road game against a 4 seed in the Sweet 16. No problem. Their toughness got that done too. Now here they sit having to play Big Bad Duke, second best team according to Ken Pom in the last 30 years. One of the best players in college basketball we've seen in recent memory in Cooper Flagg. And they're down by 14 with 8 minutes and 15 seconds left. It was a 14-point game with 8:15 left. Okay. It was a 9-point game with 2:15 left. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. It is a 9-point game. With 1 minute and 15 seconds left, Duke was up by 7. And Houston won the game. That is insane. Houston went on an 11-1 run in the final 114 to close that out. And if you want to extrapolate that out over the final 8:15, when they were down by 14, it was a 25-8 run the rest of the way after that. Again, just insane to be able to lock down Duke and lock down a truly transcendent special player like Cooper Flagg. Just crazy. And if you want some good context to this, Houston goes on the 11-1 run with 114 left to close the game. So in a minute, 14 seconds, they scored 11 points with the game on the line, with their season on the line, with the national championship game on the line. At the beginning of the game, it took Houston 12 minutes and 30 seconds to score their first 11 points. 12 minutes and 30 seconds. And then they just whip out 11 points in a minute 14 when they absolutely had to have it against a transcendent player and everybody's favorite to win the tournament, Duke, who had been cruising the entire game. I mean, Duke completely controlled that game for 38 minutes and 45 seconds. Like, period, end of story. They were totally in control of that game, and Houston they just stick around. And I liked what Kelvin Sampson said after the game, like, hey, we just wanted to put some game pressure on them and see what that would lead to. And especially when the Duke team they're so young, right? They are young. And while they've been very talented, and I think if they just don't choke, like, they're going to win the national championship. But one thing you can get at them a little bit with is it's not like super old team in the portal necessarily. This is more your young, talented freshmen, kind of the old school way to do it for the top tier teams here. So if you can't, maybe you can get them to wilt a little bit, turn up the full court pressure. They did start to wilt a little bit. Cooper Flagg got his chance to have the one shining moment and hit the game-winning shot, didn't hit it. So they put some game pressure on him and good things happen, man. Crazy. Shout out to Houston for that. Duke had a 97% chance to win with 2.5 minutes left. A 97% chance to win with 2.5 minutes left per ESPN analytics. It got as high as 98% at one point in the game, and it was a 14-point game. So, yeah, incredible comeback. We love that. We love an incredible comeback with stakes, and we love the memorable moments, like the moments that everybody is talking about. First of all, Emmanuel Sharp, the three that cut it to 3. That was really when you were like, okay, you start paying attention, like, all right. And I feel like Emmanuel Sharp has just been that dude all year. When Houston really needs a 3, he's the guy that's there to stick one for you. 41% 3-point shooter. He's been a tremendous addition to that team. You've got the stolen inbounds play. What is it with Houston and inbounds plays in this tournament? They're going to have a couple of them probably in one shining moment between that one and then the one that they had against Purdue with the little give and go. Excellent execution on that. And it turns into Joseph Tugler with the tip slam. Great moment there. And then, I mean, man, Juwan Roberts, it does not get more storybook than what happened with Juwan Roberts, who in this era of transfer portal and NIL and everybody complaining about it and hired guns and nobody with any loyalty, nobody wants to stay anywhere. In this era, here's Juwan Roberts, who's a fifth-year senior who started at Houston, averaging 1 point per game his freshman year, sticks it all the way out with Kelvin Sampson. Not an easy guy to play for, right? Like, that's a very tough, very demanding coach. He sticks it out all 5 years. And here at the end, he's not only become, a great player, one of the best players in the Big 12, but he has his March Madness moment. Guys hovering around 60% at the free throw line, gets a chance to go to the line for a 1-and-1, a 1-and-1 to take the lead and knocks them both down. That was a perfect moment. Perfect, made for March kind of moment for Juwan Roberts to do that. And then he's defending Cooper Flagg when Flagg is trying to hit the game-winning shot himself. And it leads to great post-game moment. If anybody has not seen, you should definitely go to Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at JL Kurtz and find it on my timeline. But the crowd shot of his mom coming running to him after the game as soon as it was over to embrace him, it was great. It was great stuff. Great stuff. And the last ingredient that we had that just like everybody wants in these moments to make them so great, of course, we had a little bit of controversy, had to have a little bit of controversy. Now, you may disagree with it being controversial, but the over the back call on Cooper Flagg trying to rebound the free throw, that's drawn plenty of flack. I can understand why. It's probably a little soft, yeah. But it put a 61% free throw shooter at the line for a 1-and-1. Like, that could have very easily been a good thing for Duke. And Houston they had the rebound, right? Like, Cryer, I think it was, came and got the ball. So what would you rather have if you're Houston at that point? Juwan Roberts, 61% at the line for a 1-and-1, or take your chances with an offensive possession? Be really interesting to get like a true serum answer from Kelvin Sampson on that in that moment, what he would have taken. So I'm not here for a whole lot of conversation about that being the real difference in the game or anything like that. But anyway, with all of that, like, that's perfectly wrapped under the tree. That's the type of present you want. That's what you want to watch in the Final Four. And Houston did just enough throughout the first basically 39 minutes of that game to keep you interested, string you along, keep you from turning the TV off. Like, I'm not going to lie, myself as a Big 12 fan, somebody who was very interested, very invested in watching that game, there were a couple moments where I was like, I'm picking up my phone, like I'm scrolling, like the game's on. I mean, I'm going to keep it on, but I just had lost interest in following it really closely when it got out to 14, because I was kind of like, yeah. I mean, this really feels like it's pretty much over. So they did just enough to keep you from turning it off. The casuals, hopefully most of them stuck around. And it just redeemed the tournament. In so many ways, I feel like it really redeemed the tournament. We've got an all-time tournament moment to hang our hats on this year, in a year that was extremely chalky. We got 4 1 seeds all the way to the Final Four, which did work out the way that you would hope it would. We got 2 very good games. I mean, Florida-Auburn was also a really, really entertaining, high-level game. So you didn't get the upsets. You don't have St. Peter's. You don't have Dunk City. You don't have Florida Gulf Coast. But what you got was one of the best comebacks against one of the best players in college basketball history here in the Final Four, which is a tremendous moment. So you had to be patient, wait for it a couple weeks. You didn't get it during the opening weekend in the first 2 rounds. But it was funny. I was talking to a friend as I was watching the game last night, and the friend said to me, like, hey, one shining moment, like, there's not even going to be, any real buzzer beaters or like crazy moments there. It'll be like Maryland, Colorado State. And then I was like, yeah, you got the Purdue Houston inbounds, I guess, too. But there just was not a ton of that. Not a bunch of upsets to show. Now you got some real good ammo to throw into one shining moment. I think you'll get some good stuff out of that game. So thank you, Houston, for the Big 12's sake, which I'm about to get into here in just a moment. For the Big 12's sake, absolutely thank you to the Cougars. Thank you to Kelvin Sampson and company. But the rest of America should be saying thank you to Houston as well for capping off the tournament with some incredible drama. And maybe there's a lot more to come with the Florida game tomorrow.